whether you want to have a mass profiler professional approach, or you what kind of data is it. So if you've not identification, if you've not done the identification of the samples, then it will be unidentified. Or if you have identified, then it will be combined workflow. Okay, and just say okay, and then select data files. So now here is the option where you can choose SEF files. So I can choose the SEF files here. These are the SEF files which you can choose. I'm just opening this. Okay, and then you do next, and you classify them. You classify them, and depends on the what is the kind of compound. So you add a parameter and you say test, and you assign a value for this. So if these are like control, you can give them as control, and then these are treated. So likewise, you can create your own multiple classes. I have done this already, so I'll not take over this, but I'll just go from here, say okay, and then you go next. Now here is what you can do, filtration based on the counts which you want. But since we have processed the data in Profinder, we don't want to do filtration, so I'll not do any filtration because coming from a filtered data. Otherwise, you can do RT correction and all that stuff. And this is how you will see the data. So now you can see here each compound, because it is unidentified. So it gives you the accurate mass and the retention time. And you can see the compound frequency, how the compounds are occurring. So there are a number of compounds. So 500 of them are occurring in 10 samples. Then there is a mass versus RT flow, where you can see that how many compounds are occurring in which direction. So this is one way of looking at this data. Then you do next. So this is all guided workflow. If you want to do normalization, scalar normalization, etc. After that, it will create what is called compound dendrogram or view. So we'll generate new experiment, and then you will see each line here is a compound in itself. So you will see the distribution of these compound. If I click on any one of them, then it will give you that what is this data, in how many sample it was present, in how many samples it was absent. All the data is available to you. So I'll not go into the details. I have already done this analysis. So I'll show you how the data looks like for some of the analyzed samples, and then what all can you do with this data. So first and foremost, you can do what is called as one-way ANOVA, analysis of variance, so that you get p-value cutoff for any samples. Then you can do fold change analysis. You can do upregulation, downregulation with a fold change. And you can also generate a lot of analysis possible. So you can do statistical analysis here by doing a fold change. You can do a correlation analysis. You can filter on volcano plot to see some upregulation, downregulation. You can do a principal component analysis. So this is something which I'll just show you. So you can do a principal component analysis of the sample and see which one is coming where and how the replicates correlate. You can even do the QC of the sample. So MPP in itself is a very vast subject, which is difficult to cover in 1 hour session, leave alone with cute of software. So you can do clustering analysis. This is something very important. So you can do a preview. So if there are some compounds which are doing up regulation, down regulation, so just with the click of button, you can do this clustering analysis. So if you see here, the control is different from other samples, and these two are clustering close by. And there are various other clustering algorithms, k-means, self-organizing heat plot, etc., which we will cover. But one of the most important feature which you can do is the pathway analysis. So how does the pathway work? First, you will have to match it against a database. So in the same identification, so this is one more example which I'm showing you for quality control of samples. So if you see here, this is the PCA of the replicates, all triplicates, and triplicates are matching very well. So you can see the green one is the control here, or I can just put the control. Okay. So you can see all the controls are clustered together. The triplicates are clustered together, and all the remaining ones are clustered together. So all this you can do. Then what you can do is Venn diagrams. So Venn diagrams are quite easy to plot. So if I just say I want to calculate Venn diagram for one of the entities versus the another entities, and you can do a three-way Venn diagram, and you can do a four-way diagram. So easily you can do Venn diagram, and now each of these you can selectively look at these entities, and you can export them as a pathway for anything. So these samples were from Solanum lipoversicum. So what I did was to match them against a database which has been already generated by us for Solanum, and then I match them against the pathways which are known for this database. So this is something which will give you the biological contextualization of the entire data. So when you look at these pathways, this is how the number of pathways which are matched to this particular list. So first I will do differential analysis, upregulation and downregulation. And if you see now some of these pathways which are matched. So I'll just zoom into one of these pathways so that you can see better. So if you look at these pathways, all these are the entities which are matched here. So if you see these were in duplicates, that's why in triplicate, sorry. So you will see the same kind of abundance workflow. So the heat plot here shows you that blue means it is down regulated, red means it is high abundant. So these are the sum of the compounds which are up regulated or down regulated in the pathway. So if you see here, like this 3-methyl dioxidal, this is upregulated. So this is for tryptophan metabolism. Similarly, if you want to look for arginine and proline metabolism, where it matches these pathways, you can have a look very clearly that there are certain. So you can see these compounds which are matched. So these are various ways in which you can interpret the results, like which pathways are getting upregulated or downregulated. So if you see here, this one, yeah, L-glutamate, it was not found in any of the samples, but it was found upregulated in one of these, all the triplicates of this sample. So you tells you that there is something going on with this particular pathway here. So this is the pathway-based approach. Then there are some entities which are present, all the compounds almost are present here. So this D-arginine, and then you can have, so likewise you can see various pathways. So like flavonoid biosynthesis pathway. Yeah, so we see there are maybe 4 compounds which are matching with this pathway. Now this is just one pass of the data. That means I have not done repeat analysis. This is just the data which I got from the samples, and I now the next question would be whether there are so many other metabolites in this pathway. So if you see this flavonoid biosynthesis pathway, there are 68 metabolites. I am matching only 4. So what is happening to the remaining 64 metabolites? Are they not being matched, or they are being there, but my analytical tools are biased towards some analysis? So what I can do next time, bare minimum, is I can export this data into or look at this data specifically by looking at some extraction, some literature protocol, and try to optimize this data further. So with this, I think I have come to the end. One more slide and then we'll be at the end. So this is how you see the data which I have already presented to you. And what are the applications of metabolomics, which we have already discussed, but increasingly we are seeing that metaboloids are being used for food profiling applications as well, like food authenticity, wine class prediction, or degradation or process development is something which is coming up in big way. Like your spent media analysis also part of somewhere bordering around metabolites kind of approach. So with that, I would like to thank you for your patience. We are in time and we have time for questions. So Ashish, do you have any questions, or I can look at my chat?
Thank you, Saurabh. It was good talk from you. And yes, there were a lot of interest. I think I got